how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Sorna Emergent Biopark in Jurassic World Evolution, a project where we're aiming to make a biologically accurate dinosaur park and preserve with the use of mods. In today's episode we actually have a bit of a live play. As you can see, I am in the game for once and not actually doing a speed build ahead of time, so that'll be a little bit of fun. And today we're going to be building a habitat for some Nanuqsaurus somewhere back here. So in the first few episodes, what we've been doing is, of course, building this main street area. We did an Albertoceratops habitat and they look very happy indeed. Let's have a look at them. Yeah, they look pretty chill. I went with this kind of a grayer pattern for most of them. And then this beautiful blue and red one for like kind of a male patterning, I guess, to imply some dimorphism. Of course, beautiful mod, great work by LA Studios for this one. Really lovely stuff, and just really enjoying the habitat. Of course, Raider 1985 really came through the foliage and the mosasaur tank kind of architecture and stuff like that, so it's all looking really nice, and I'm a big fan of how everything's looking. Of course, in the last episode we also built a habitat for some Gorgosaurus, and they are lovely. I absolutely love them. They are by Wheat, I believe, and they look fantastic. I think they look really good. Honestly, look like they could have been like part of the base game. They really fit that aesthetic quite well. Got two variations on the color scheme here. This one is the more silvery white one. I think I prefer this one overall, though I really like the original as well. And they work really well together as a pair. And as you can see in their habitat overall, it's getting a bit more temperate. There's more cedars, and I think that's kind of the direction we're going as we get further back here. And in this general area, we're doing a lot of quotations North America stuff. And I kind of want it a little bit more in the temperate kind of vibe as opposed to a tropical vibe. So that's the direction we're going to go. And I really like how these habitats are turning out. I especially like this little like archway that the river goes through. And I like the river as a whole, as a concept that kind of goes to the central lake over here. Whether I'll put anything in the central lake is still very much up to debate. I have no idea whether I will. Maybe you can convince me in the comments if you think of a good species that would fit down here. I'm more than happy to like think about it and see whether I can fit something there. Of course, here's the main street itself, using a lot of that kind of like merging of the buildings to really get things next to each other and create some really interesting things like this, though doesn't quite work all the time. This just kind of says Toyosol Zone, which doesn't make any sense, but hey ho, I think it just ends up looking quite nice and hides a lot of the backstage stuff pretty decently. And on the other side we have more buildings too, which looks quite nice, and more picnic areas, and overall just looks quite good. We do not have any guests whatsoever, and I do not know why that is. Potentially because we don't actually have, oh no, we do have an arrival point. Don't seem to have any guests though, so something is off somewhere, potentially. I have no idea. But we'll figure it out eventually, I'm sure. We've got shops and dinosaurs, and that's what matters. We don't need guests for this to be an operational park. Over here, of course, we have the operations center, and I think it looks really lovely. I will detail it more as we go along, but, you know, using all these little scenery items, I think they were from Danny Bob. And then clipping everything together with the mod from Kyodenic and creating like a really kind of dense, quite tightly packed operation center, I think looks quite good. And of course, amenities for the staff as well if they want to have some food. Again, with the lovely trees. I don't know what these are even meant to be. I just thought they looked kind of cool. I know that, obviously I know they're the Velociraptor pen, but I mean, in this context, I have no idea what they were actually meant to be. Potentially hatcheries for smaller species, who knows? I mean, I don't think they'd be actual Velociraptor pens considering how close they are to the, you know, dining area, so who knows. Over here is our actual hatchery where we get our dinosaurs released and then ready for transport into their habitats. We've got some emergency shelters. Yeah, I made a super long one basically by connecting a whole bunch of them together. Quite like how it looks. And over here is our kind of orchard slash kind of nursery for all the plants. You can go through this little path that actually goes through the whole thing. But there's so many like plants here that are being grown. And there's some greenhouses, I imagine, for like paleo foliage and stuff. So that's all. I think it looks really nice. Just kind of gives a bit more of an interesting element to this area up here. And of course back here we have the power plant, which I love the geothermal power plant from the Return to Jurassic Park DLC. So cool looking. Really, really like that. Hope that makes a return in the next game, actually. Which I think it might. There's a lot of like kind of more rustic looking buildings in the next game, so who knows? We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, with that, all that being said, and okay, let me know in the comments. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of this 3-hotel layout, and I might remove the middle one. Let me know what you think of that concept in the comments, and I'll see what I do about it. I might delete the middle one and just put a path going straight through, or use a few more buildings, but you know. Also really like how these fences look when you merge them together with other things, and of course our elongated viewing gallery. Loving these techniques, it's so fun. Recently actually, Radar 1985 has released a new mod, which is the T-Rex kind of amphitheater from Jurassic World, and we might use a little bit of that for the Nanuqsaurus, so I think I want it to be kind of a mountainous habitat, so let's get started with that. Get the intensity up, and what I might do is actually just go right up and build it kind of on a higher slope over here. You can flatten that out and then get it really kind of like all over this area. This might be the first habitat that doesn't have the river actually go through it. I know Nanuqsaurus might seem an odd choice. It's not really kind of keeping in with the theme. I mean, it is to an extent. So my theme was kind of Cretaceous North America first. They always have some great stuff. These two first animals, of course, were from the Judith River Formation. But Nanuqsaurus is not, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I can't really look that up as I'm doing a live play, but I think it's from further north. Nanuqsaurus, Nanuq actually means polar bear in one of the native languages of kind of that area of the world. If I'm not mistaken, it's Inupiat language. It's one of the kind of Inuit or Inuit adjacent languages, and it means polar bear, and this Nanuqsaurus means polar bear lizard. I actually learned about the term Nanuq specifically because of in my course doing science communication, Nanuq, we actually looked at one of the first documentaries ever made, and that was called Nanuq of the North, which was kind of an exploitative documentary almost of Inuit peoples in kind of really far reaches of the North American kind of tundra regions, so way past Canada, you know, like, well, not past Canada, I mean Canada makes up all that area, so you know, kind of up there in that part of the world. And it was really fascinating, like learning about Inuit culture and stuff like that, but at the same time the documentary itself was made in quite an exploitative way, and that's kind of characteristic of a lot of old documentaries. And this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but I just had it on the mind, so it's interesting to think about. And obviously the dinosaur name reminded me of it. And yeah, it was just fascinating. And of course, Nanuq, like I said, means polar bear, because polar bears are such an integral part of the cultures of the people in that part of the world. They just, you know, like when you have something as incredibly powerful and majestic as a polar bear, it's going to influence your culture. The way tigers have influenced many Asian cultures, or lions have many African cultures, and grizzly bears, of course, influence plenty of cultures themselves in kind of the northern parts of the world across Russia, Europe, you know, like North America. It's just really, really fascinating how much of a part apex predators play in human culture. Anyways, going back to Nanuqsaurus itself, it is a beautifully made model by Nanuqsaurus, who made some incredibly gorgeous models. Some of my favorite mods are actually made by Nanuqsaurus. So I don't know if any of you remember the Psittacosaurus we used for Maplanteros Emergent Biopark as one of the first dinosaurs. Now that was easily one of my favorite mods, and is probably to this day still the most biologically accurate mod that we could get, because we know so much about Psittacosaurus. We've got such perfectly preserved fossils and remains of Psittacosaurus that really there's no way to kind of make it inaccurate if you really follow what we know about it, because it's so well preserved. So I thought that was just like one of the really all-time great mods as well, because it looks so good. So this is going to be our hill area, and I think that looks quite nice. I'm going to definitely add a lot of rock here. In fact, what I might do is I might just do the whole thing in rock, and then afterwards really change it up. But yeah, I wanted it to be kind of mountainous to reflect kind of the northern nature of this animal. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the animal itself. So Nanuqsaurus is, of course, a Cretaceous tyrannosaur, very similar to many other Cretaceous tyrannosaurs, in fact, in size and shape. But that's the thing, we don't actually have very many remains of Nanuqsaurus. We have, like, bits of a skull to work off. Really not an awful lot, honestly. Like, we've got more to work off of pretty much every other I mean, I'm saying that there's always fragmentary remains of like animals all over the place, so who knows. But yeah, we just really don't have much of this animal, and what we know is really derived from other North American tyrannosaurs like Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, like we placed in the previous habitat, Daspletosaurus, T-Rex, basically. There's just so many North American tyrannosaurs, and that's just really where we're getting our information from for this animal. Okay, I'm liking how this looks. What I'm going to do is just quickly get the path around so that I actually know what I'm doing with this. Loving these paths, by the way, and I forgot who made them. Was it Fletcher? I believe so. But if I forget, and if any of you remember, please do let me know in the comments. But of course, all the links will be in the description for all the mods. I try my best to credit everyone, but especially during a live play, I can't like go and double check, unfortunately. I wish there was a way to kind of see it in the game, but unfortunately that feature does not exist. But yeah, modders have done fantastic stuff for this game, and especially recently. Like, I thought modding was going to die down when news of Jurassic World Evolution 2 kind of was released, and it did to an extent, but then some fantastic mods are still being released very regularly, like all of the stuff by Raider 1985 has come out so recently, and they commented on one of the last videos, and if they're watching today, I just want to say thank you. You've made some incredible stuff. But yeah, people are still making great stuff. Cryogenics, like new mods for behavior and stuff like that have been coming out recently. The only reason I don't really use those as much is because I play in such a sandbox oriented mode that I rarely actually focus on the dinosaur behaviors themselves. Though I probably should, like, because they are a fun part of the game, and I do really enjoy watching the behaviors. But in the with this kind of the sandbox orientated mode that I play in, I don't end up watching the dinosaurs themselves for too long. So it kind of ends up being, I don't know, just I'm more focused on the building element right now. I think that will change in Jurassic World Evolution 2. I think I'll end up spending a lot more time on the dinosaurs themselves and watching them kind of behave and stuff like that. So that might be the case going forward. But it really, yeah, those mods are fantastic. And also the Cryogenic, I believe, has introduced some really fantastic new things as well, like dinosaur breeding, which is really cool. It doesn't work like, as in we don't have juvenile dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs do like replicate every once in a while, and that is really cool. And I think they've even managed to figure out like how to introduce genetic mutations and all sorts of incredible stuff like that. So like, I have no worries about like the longevity of mods in this game. Of course, now when the Jurassic World Evolution 2 actually properly releases, that's potentially going to change things. Actually, almost definitely going to change things, because people will end up focusing primarily on the new game, which is entirely understandable. Of course, it's a new game. You know, you want to really focus on that when that comes out. And of course, there will be a modding scene for Jurassic World Evolution 2. I have no doubt. The thing being, I probably won't kind of participate with that until the game's development cycle is over. That's kind of my go-to rule with modding. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what the game is like. I have very high hope for Jurassic World Evolution 2, so I can't see myself really needing mods too much until maybe sometime later when, you know, when development is dying down a little bit and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm liking how this looks. I'm not really sure how to go about fencing this up. One thing I might do, actually, before anything else, is start doing rock work, because this is going to be an incredibly rocky habitat. And yeah, let's get started with that. I'm going to try and get some, because I want a lot of the barriers to be natural barriers. I don't want much fencing in this habitat. And we'll try and do some rocks just around the outside here. My god, I love the fact that we can't, like, clipping no longer exists. That looks pretty cool. Not a fan of how slab-like it looks, so I might try and, like, smooth it out with a few of these. These are some of the earlier replacement rocks by Danny Bob. And I believe they've kind of gone on made purely non-replacement versions, but they look a little bit different. They are, I believe, kind of more, what was the term I'm looking for? More like, they're a bit smaller and they've got a different texture, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I lost my train of thought there. Okay, I think that looks alright. Let's keep going with the rocks on this side as well. Maybe, I do love these rocks. These are just the base game rocks. And they work so well when you can clip them together and stuff. I'm just going to put some here. They also just do look a little bit like giant piles of dino poop, which is fine by me, you know. But if you want to view it like that, totally cool. Okay, there we go. That looks nice. Got some really nice kind of cliffside vibes here, which is really always quite nice. There we go. All fits together pretty well. Sinks into the water nicely as well, which is always great. And yeah, I think that's some good rock work right there. Let's see what else we can do here. Maybe some rock work down here actually. And because we are all the way down here, I might use some different types of rocks as well. These are really nice. These long rocks were always my favorite when they first released with the Claire Sanctuary update, because my favorite thing to do was just put them in water like this. And they just look like really great kind of riverside rock pieces. Just like that. And if they look a bit too samey, all I usually do is just insert another bunch of rocks like that or something. I want this to be a really rocky habitat, like just entirely too many rocks, because it's meant to be quite mountainous, and later when I add the foliage it'll blend in a little bit better, but that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. Very, very rocky. Very large as well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But again, these are apex predators, and I'm planning to put in a few of them in here, so should be fine. Nanuqsaurus in real life was quite big, actually. It's probably likely the same size as things like the Spleetosaurus and stuff. But in the game, I believe this mod is based off the Herrerasaurus, so it won't be awfully large in the game, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it even has like an entry in the Dinopedia thing that the game has, but because I'm playing on such a, you know, stripped down sandbox mode, I probably don't have access to that. Though I'm not sure. Who knows? I really, like, that's the thing with modding though, is I kind of forget which ones I have installed and in what configuration. So sometimes I'm like, can I even access that? Like some of the things I have, you may have noticed in the start of the video, I had a notification under the control room section. And to this day, I have no idea why that's there. One of the mods I downloaded apparently provides a notification there, but for what? I have no idea. I've never thought to question it too much, so who knows. Okay, here we go. This is looking pretty solid. Let's actually get the rest of the fencing around so that we can, you know, start putting in the animals in a bit. Oh, we should actually get those going at the hatchery. I always forget these things. Okay. So the fence is actually going to curl around the top here, and it's going to go around a lot of the rocks and stuff like that, and it's going to go through the trees here and connect. Actually, it's just going to go, yeah, it's going to go through the trees here, and then we'll connect here. So they can't access that area, but that's fine. I'm planning to add in some foliage to just block this area out anyways, so that we don't need to think too much about what's here. Which is kind of what I do a lot of the time between habitats. So if I don't really want to focus too much on barriers and stuff like that, I just add in a bunch of foliage. And I know this foliage is a bit tropical for what I was saying, but that's just the nature of the base game foliage. And I think it looks fine when you blend them in with other trees and stuff like that. Okay, now with most of this rock work in place, what am I planning to do about this drop over here? Let's see what the options are and what we can do with it. How's about making him into slightly more cliff-like edges? Potentially. Let's see if that works. So what I'll do is just do this, do this, do this, and one more just there and there. And then what I do from there is potentially just get some of that. No, that does not look good at all. I have no idea what to do with this area. How do I make that a reasonable barrier for the animals not to cross? More rocks, perhaps? I mean, when in doubt, more rocks, I guess. I mean, it doesn't look like a natural, like they would go out here somewhere. Somehow it looks like a really steep fall. But then again, I don't want it to look like they can escape. That's the problem. So what I might do is put in like an actual kind of fence down here instead. Okay. Nope, that looks really weird. Let's not do that. Okay. I feel like I've worked myself into a bit of predicament. And what I'm going to end up doing, I think, now is just making the barrier up here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is take some of these bigger rocks and start building up what could be a, assumed to be a barrier of some description. Which isn't too, like, unbelievable. It is very mountainous here. I imagine, like, these rocks wouldn't stand out too much by any means. And I'll put in some foliage there as well, just on the bottoms and stuff, so that it doesn't really, it doesn't look too weird. It does look a little weird, but that's okay. A little bit of weirdness is not a bad thing. That's what I always say. Is it? I don't know. What do I always say? Who knows? Okay, yeah, that looks fine. Yeah, when I'm in that, I'll just put in a bunch of foliage and make it look like there's some hidden barrier there, I've done it plenty of times, and I'll do it again. Why did that sound like a threat? Yeah, I've placed barriers where there shouldn't be barriers. I'll do it again. What am I talking about? Oh, I just minimized my thingy by accident. Okay, I'm back. I am back. I wonder if that'll show up in the final video, or whether it'll just look like I'm still playing the game. Who knows? Okay, that actually looks alright. It doesn't look awful by any means. I'll cover the back here a little bit, because there's some weirdness, but if I just put in some plants here, actually. Yeah, okay. Oh, that looks sick. Okay, that looks really, really nice. I'm going to change out some of these fences here. I hate that the Jurassic World fences don't exactly work with the Jurassic Park fences. That is such a shame. But this will do nicely. There we go. And that'll be fine. And of course we're going to decorate up this front area a little bit. Gonna take this one and go right along the side here. Straight on to there. Perfect. That did wonders for this. This is kind of nice, actually. I was worried about recording like this. I don't often do live kind of sessions with gameplay, just because I'm always worried I don't have things to talk about, or I'll get stressed and I will be like, no, I don't know what I'm doing and stuff like that. But it's fun. It's just a casual thing, and I'm enjoying it plenty right now. So maybe I'll do more of it. Like it's fun. And if it's fun, why not, right? Let me know what you think. Do you like more of these live play things? Just hanging out, just chilling. Tell me by the way in the comments, what sort of animals you'd like to see next. That's obviously what I usually say, but I'm kind of like hoping to mix things up a bit with this park. And some of the ideas I've had before were to include some of the Miocene creatures, or the Cenozoic creatures, so things like saber-toothed cats and other creatures of the like, you know, Elasmotherium, giant ground sloth, that sort of thing. There's a lot of really great mods for those on the Nexus, so I'm more than happy to kind of explore the unknowns. So kind of, oh, why did I do that? That was not what I was planning to do. Okay, perfect. So crag, I believe, should be kind of more of the mountainous vibes. So let's go with that. Yeah, it does feel a bit more mountainous. That's nice. I'm looking forward to all the new environmental options in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Those are going to be so fun to play with. Like, really, really good stuff, I think. It's surprisingly less like valley-like than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to feel like a very enclosed valley, but there's a lot of open space, which I'll obviously deal with in a second by placing down far too much foliage, because I always do. In fact, we're getting like pretty solid with the rockwork, so what I'm going to do is actually, before we continue any further, let's go and release, well, like, get our Nanuqsaurus on the way. The release mechanisms are really fast now. I think I know which colors I'm going to choose, and while we do that, actually, I'll talk a little bit about colors for animals like Nanuqsaurus. Actually, let's release all of them, because I don't know which colors I actually really want, and we can choose, and then we can, like, get rid of any that we don't really like. But yeah, talking about animals like Nanuqsaurus, so kind of dinosaurs that are perceived to live in colder climates, or climates of like living further north and stuff like that, are often portrayed in like paleo art as having like white feathers or white skin, very much like polar bears or, you know, other Arctic animals. And that's very much like almost it's what's considered paleo art meme, essentially. So something that's repeated quite often within paleo art that's later like, that maybe has scientific basis or doesn't, but just happens to be something that's seen really, really often. And there's no real evidence for it. I think the mod author specifically has decided not to introduce white feathering, except for like one of the skins, which I think they added because of requests. But I think it's a nice depiction of a cold weather animal like this not to have white feathering and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not unreasonable to have white feathering or white skin, because polar bears have it, Arctic foxes have it, seals have it. You know, it's very much a legitimate biological thing. But of course, because, you know, back then climate wasn't the same as it was now. It's very much, I'm not an expert on it, but I do think it was slightly more temperate than like completely frigid. So, you know, who knows? And that was basically the point of it, is who knows. Anyways, let's release these and see what they're like. Oh, I love that. That was really gorgeous. That is a beautiful dinosaur right there. Look at the feathering. It looks fluffy. So initially there was another version of this mod that came out a bit earlier, and it was like the first version of this mod, and I didn't download it because I wasn't super big a fan. I wasn't really that big a fan of the initial version of the feathering. It kind of looked a bit like spikes. But now it looks so good. It looks fluffy. I feel like I could pet it. Ah, that is a beautiful dinosaur right there. And that might actually be one of my favorite mods now. So huge, huge props to Nanuqsaurus. Okay, so which skin is this one? This is the second one to come out. Whoa, those purple eyes are really nice. So which skin is this? Is it arid or something? Tundra. Not bad. Oh, this one's really bright. So this must be woodland or taiga? Tiger? No, it's woodland. Oh, there's a blue one. Oh, that is bright. That is very bright. I like it. I like how blue that is. But I'm not sure if it fits the kind of naturalistic vibe that I've been going for. So let's see. I think there's one more skin we haven't tried. Is that... Oh my god. How did they... Oh my god, how did they do that? That is so funny. Literally, this is exactly what we were talking about a second ago, about the white feathering and stuff. Huh. That is hilarious. I love it. Okay, let's release that. I just want to see it. It's even called Wannabe Polar Bear. Wow. I love that. So as you can see, actually, that was listed here. Ursus maritimus. I believe that is the scientific name for polar bear. The rest are, you know, the usual suspects we have for the game. Okay, wait, where's that last one? Is that it? No, yeah, that's 5. Ah, that's nice. I really like that. Very subtle, very arid, of course. Ah, there it is. There's the white version. It looks nice. Definitely, again, it's very much in fitting with that paleo art meme that I talked about, and it's perfect. Perfectly fine, if you ask me. I'm more than happy with that. But I will go for the less conventional white, non-white one. So I'm gonna go with that red one and the arid one, I believe. Also because both of those have the black eyes, which is personally something I quite like, because the purple eyes are a bit intense for my liking. They're just a bit like, they almost glow, and that's a little bit intense for me. I do really like the others. Oh, this one looks a bit like a macaw, which is really nice. Oh, maybe I will use them in the future. Some of the coloring is just gorgeous. Like one thing I was talking about in the last episode is how the Gorgosaurus has had really few appearances in media, but the one they did have in Walking with Dinosaurs, the movie in 2013, was beautiful. Had a gorgeously designed kind of blue iridescent scaling, and that was stunning. And you don't see colors like that on animals super often, but because dinosaurs obviously are super closely related to birds are dinosaurs and all that, you know, it's a bit more reasonable to expect these sorts of animals to have really bright, vivid coloring. So I'm going to use the red one as kind of a single male, and then I'll have like a few females which are that arid pattern, so I'll do that. I cannot get over this. This is hilarious. Like, props to you, Nanuqsaurus. You know, that's just that's just very funny. Honestly, also props to you for, like, you know, being like, okay, everyone's requesting it, I'll put it out there, but I don't have to be happy about it. So kudos, absolutely kudos. So funny. I had to forget tranquilize one. There we go. Let's get these out. So there'll be 4 of them in the habitat, and I want to do this now because the last time I tranquilized some dinosaurs, I'm pretty sure I forgot to pick them up and a bunch of them died. My fault, entirely my fault. So yeah, there's an entire like first batch of Albertoceratops you guys didn't see. So yeah, fingers crossed. These guys are not forgotten about. Okay, while they're being tranquilized, I'll move over and do some more work, and inevitably actually do forget about them. But if we don't, you know, all will be well. Should we do some redwoods? Yeah, why not, actually? I don't necessarily think this is the park for redwoods, but a few won't hurt. And a few actually, even in the back of this habitat, will look quite nice. Because this is another kind of, you know, arid kind of habitat. I even added some cedars here, so let's just yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good and gives a bit more credence, I think, to the temperate vibe. Is that even the right word, credence? I use it a lot. It just sounds cool, doesn't it? Lends some credence. Oh, very formal. Anyways, I hope all of you are doing well. It's a really interesting time of the year for me. I'm moving house very soon, which is a nightmare. It is, wow, why did I click that? It is a nightmare at the moment. I'm just like, I'm probably going to be without internet for a few days come next week, because my internet's not set up, but I need to move into my new place. It's by the way, this is the new T-Rex Stadium thing, and it's fantastic. But yeah, so I might be out of internet for a few days, which will be a bit of a nightmare, but hopefully I'll get it set up ASAP and I can really get back into videos. The only thing with that is I might be not able to make videos next week, which is also potentially when a new Planet Zoo DLC might be announced, because earlier today, and today's Thursday, the Planet Zoo Twitter posted something about a new update, so I'm going to be so annoyed if I don't have internet and I can't download a new DLC. But that is just my luck, you know, like that is absolutely something that would happen to me. Okay, here's us placing down the cedars, beautiful plants, really nice. So happy that the Planet Zoo plants have been introduced into the game. Just makes such a difference. The giant cedars especially look really nice. Okay, that's those. I like keeping them on the outside. We even have some of these other cedar trees, but they look a bit too cold weather for my liking. Himalayan pines, maybe? Yeah. A few of them here. No. I'm not going to use many of those actually. They don't look super. Let's see, how does this look? Yeah. Not awful. I'll put them around. It's mainly trying to keep the vibe of not being too out of place essentially with these trees. Because of course we are still in the tropics. Like as much as it doesn't necessarily look like it with specific habitats. I want to make sure all these trees could live here. What about these trees? Could be nice to include some of these. Yeah, you know what, let's go for it. I'd like some more color in the habitat. Smaller ones too. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, now we're really getting into that kind of cool weather vibe. And of course the quaking aspens look really nice as well. In fact, I'll put some of these in the middle just because I think they look really good as just kind of like standing out in the middle. Like they're so tall and skinny that it just looks really, I don't know, it really evokes like quite an interesting environment, I think. Okay, sugar maples perhaps? Yeah, I'm really enjoying adding color to this specific habitat, so let's keep going with it a little bit. And you know, I'm sure we'll end up with something quite interesting. Okay, I think we're done with the tall trees. Let's do something like more shrubbery related. Yeah, some of these, I believe these are from Danny Bob. Really nice ferns. Let's place them around. Create some nice clusters. Of course, in some areas I want them quite dense. Just around rocks and stuff where, I don't know, it just feels like when you're around some like rocks at the base of trees, you always think of those areas to be quite heavily shrubbery covered. And I don't actually know why. Like there's probably no reason for those areas to be covered in shrubbery. But I always think of those like first when I think of these. These are some of the other rocks, which I quite like, and I might use some of them just because they're a nice color. A bit more of a light gray. And I love these small ones as well. And we might just put some of these just here and there. Especially around the water, I think small rocks look really good. Okay. Looking pretty good. Let's see what else we can add. I need to stop adding fallen logs to everything because I literally add fallen logs to every habitat. But they look so good. Okay, one more fallen log and then I won't do it for the next habitat. Spoiler alert, I'm almost definitely going to do it for the next habitat. I also love this tiny tree. It just adds a lot. Or this tiny like fallen branch thing. It adds a lot of additional character. I'm good without the prehistoric trees, I think. Yeah, pretty happy with how this looks. Anything else I want to add? I think I'm actually good. I'm probably going to do something with the T-Rex stadium, like build a different type of stadium using those walls. Nothing I can see. What I might do is add another viewing gallery though, just to really, or maybe a building. Let's see. Do you have a toilet? It might be nice to add a toilet here. It's a little bit stuck with the weird path system. It's like clipping onto things that it doesn't really need to be clipping onto. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna put a statue here or something. We do have some nice statues, courtesy of, I believe, the Dandyman. They're all a bit big. Maybe, yeah, the T-Rex skull. Why not? Because it is a Tyrannosaur. And we've seen like a couple Tyrannosaurs here. This could be a nice little addition. That circle is not purely circular, is it? Can't tell. Anyways. Some benches. I'm not going to go too hard on the detailing today. It's just, you know, why not leave it for a bit? we'll really go in on detailing like as we go forward in the park, but not every episode. And also, I don't think every episode will be live like this. Maybe like every other episode, maybe. I don't know. Again, we'll see how it goes. A lot of this is very much just dependent on how I feel at any specific time, or anything like that. Should we do an elongate? Actually, because this is quite a tall habitat, I think I will add in a connected little viewing platform. Like that, maybe. Or, like this? Or, can we do that? No, let's put it off to the side and line this up. I think that looks pretty solid. I also need to remember that just because I can clip everything together doesn't mean I have to. Because some things will just look better without clipping, but yeah. I just enjoy like when we get all these little things to just try my best and finagle things together and see all these weird new combinations that we didn't have before. But otherwise, I think I'm pretty happy with how this habitat looks. Let's have a look through the viewing gallery. Oh, that is nice. I really like how that looks. One final thing, of course, is to include some feeders, because I've forgotten that many times in the past. Let's put one there. Okay, let's get our tranquilized little guys before they die. And I think they will, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if they're on the way out. No, their health is fine. Oh, no, they're falling though. I just noticed. There's 5 of them. Did I make 5? That sounds like a lot. Did I intentionally make 5? That's the question. Okay, Nanuq 1. By the way, would you guys like it if like we named any of these dinosaurs? I tend to not do that just because I don't really do it for Planet Zoo either, and there's usually a lot of animals per habitat for both series. But if you like it, maybe we could do that in the future, especially if we're doing more of these live plays. So, I think as of now, if I'm not mistaken, Jurassic World Evolution 2 is about 8 weeks away. And with the path this series is going, what I might do is try and up the amount of stuff per episode, because 8 episodes might not be enough to finish the series, and I want to finish it before Evolution 2 comes out. So what we might do is actually oh, I left the woodland one here. That's probably good because I didn't want that one, and I was good, I caught it, I mean. So what we might do is actually like have some episodes where we do 2 or 3 habitats, and there'll be like really long chunks of episodes. And apparently like from the comments, it seems like quite a few of you do enjoy longer episodes, so yeah, that could be a fun thing to do, I think. Anyways, the Nanuqsaurus are being airlifted in here. That's actually really cool with the little the flares running. That's just, what a cool sight that is. Like, if you told me this was Jurassic World Evolution a few years ago, and well, last year or a few months ago, I would have been like, what? No way. But yeah, it is. And I am so looking forward to the environment systems in Jurassic World Evolution 2. That is going to be fantastic. They look so good. And it's nice that we have different biomes. I believe we found out about 4 of the biomes out of 5. So we have desert and taiga were confirmed really early on. And then we of course have a temperate biome, which is really nice. That was showed at Gamescom. We assume the tropical biome is back because of the chaos theory mode and stuff. The 5th one we don't know about, and I'm actually really quite surprised. My theory is that it might be like a grasslands kind of prairie type biome, because the Americas, and I think that a lot of the game is set in North America. And of course you do have lots of large expanses of kind of grassland, like where the bison roam and stuff like that, that kind of vibe. But the only thing with that is that kind of lines up with temperate quite well already. So I can't really imagine that necessarily being the case. It'd be cool if we got a coastal biome, but again, the reason that doesn't make sense to me is because we've already seen like the temperate biome, for example, in the trailer for Gamescom. It looked to be on an island setting, so it wouldn't, like, a coastal biome seems kind of unnecessary. I really can't imagine what it would be. A wetland biome would be amazing, but really don't see how that would factor in. My guess is going to be that kind of grassland prairie kind of vibe, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what it ends up being. The other idea would be tundra, but we already have the taiga and it snows a lot there, so and also because of the reptile and nature of the dinosaurs, well, they're not really reptiles, but you know, the fact that these animals that generally speaking will benefit from warmer weather, it'll be odd to see them in like pure snow 24/7, whereas snowstorms I think are a nice middle ground, like, you know, where you have a taiga environment and it's pretty okay, and then you have like intense bouts of snow. Anyways, let's look at our Nanuqsaurus. Absolute cuties, all feeding from the carnivore feeder, which I clicked on instead of the Nanuqsaurus. Oh, look at them. I love them. They're beautiful. My god, easily some of the best modding work I've seen. Those feathers look stunning. Really fantastic work on part of Nanuqsaurus. That feather work is really spectacular. It feels tactile. It feels like I could run my hand through it. And overall, just fantastic work on this dinosaur. Again, it's a species we don't know much about, but it looks so good. Huge props to Nanuqsaurus. And there's the other skin, of course. Really nice. I like that there is subtle patterning on the body, even though it's kind of a pure dark shade. Like, you can see along the skin and along the tail, like this lovely kind of bits of gold almost poking through the darker skin. Really nice. So yeah, that about wraps it up for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be some cinematics at the end after this. Do leave a like down below, of course, if you did like the video. Do subscribe for more Jurassic World Evolution content. Comment down below. Tell me what you like most about this episode. Would you want to see more live play? Do you want to see any specific species? Let me know down below. And as always, thanks so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!